So I'm skipping some of the examples here. So multidimensional visualization here, pairwise scatter plots. So that's an important concept that we want to look at, and that is you want to take numerical variables and all combinations, like correlation, right? You have all the variables and you see the correlation values as the matrix. Okay. Now there is some value in looking at scatter plots. Instead of correlation, you want to look at scatter plots for all these different combinations. So that's what is pairwise scatter plots are. So and it is fairly easy. Okay, so there is a plot. So that's not part of ggplot, that's part of graphics. Okay, so housing.df, all the rows, and you want only, say, columns 1, 3, 12, and 13. Yeah, I just picked up a few numbers, okay. So this is a pairwise plot, scatter plot, okay, for the selected columns. So you can do this for all the columns if you want, okay. But it will be too large and you may not be able to see anything. So I selected just 4 of them. So of course you can't have scatter plot of a variable with itself. So you have to have 2 variables to have a scatter plot. So now you see in one panel you can see all the relationships between selected pairs of columns. So that's a useful thing to look at. And there is another library that gives you even better information than this regular plot, and that's called ggalley library. So we have to install that, ggalley. Okay, and then library ggalley. Okay, so run that. Okay. So now you see that this one gives the same, but it is more useful because it gives you more information, and it doesn't repeat the same thing. So like for example here, these two are the same, okay, except that the x and y axes are flipped, that's all. It's the same 2 variables. So you have crim and indes. This is also crim and indes. So it's redundant plots are generated in that command. Now, but if you use ggpairs, which is part of, okay, ggpairs is part of ggalley. So ggpairs, and then you give the same information like before, right? So you want columns 1, 3, 12, 13, and then you see it's different in a couple of ways. So it does produce, okay, all the pairwise scatter plots which are below the diagonal. Okay. Now along the diagonal, okay, since you cannot have a scatter plot of a variable with itself, instead it generates histogram. Okay. But it doesn't put bars. Instead of bars, it just puts a line. So these are histograms, the shape of that particular variable by itself. And then above the diagonal, it gives you correlation. Okay? So you get 3 different information in one panel. Pairwise scatter plots below the diagonal, pairwise correlations above the diagonal, and along the diagonal you have histogram, which is nice to have. Okay.